You did speak about your debut with Mr. Mani Ratnam, and
Yeah.
of course you went on to do multiple other films with him, right? What you did in Yuva versus what you did in Guru versus what you did in the original of Satya are as different as chalk and cheese and coffee from each other. So how does the filmmaker and an actor build that relationship?
You know, with Mani sir, he's one of those guys who's so dedicated to his subject and film that he won't do favors in casting. Let me tell you, for example, Yuva. So I went to hear the story from Mani sir. He called me. I think he had me as a second option for playing Siddharth's role. He said, I've already done 3 films with Maddy now. It's too much. The fact that, he started advising me on more stuff than just acting was something that I was very excited about. But Either thing, which is Yuva in Hindi, was something that I was very keen that I do, but I didn't want to do Siddharth's role. That's the role that he had in mind for me. Again, Lover Boy, me, Trisha, and everything. So I heard the story and I said, I think I should do In Buzzle.
Oh, yeah.
So he says, why? What do you mean? That's the best line in the film. The rest of them are all be forgotten. He says, shut up. He was very offended. So he said, I've already got somebody else in mind for you. You want to do this? Let me know. I said, Mani sir, when are you starting to shoot? He said, I've already fixed Abhishek. He's doing this. We're starting to shoot. I am starting shoot in 2 months. I said, can you give me 1 month to convince you? He said, I'm going to go ahead. You do what you think is fine. I took a month off. I shaved off my hair. I started playing golf without sunscreen and became really, really tanned. I built up my muscles and everything. And I became literally unrecognizable. So I remember going to Mani sir's house with that look. He had this security people.
Security.
No, he had the security people because of that he had, after Roja, he was under threat. So the guys looked at me and said, yes. So I looked at them and they smiled. Hey, Maddy sir. I said, don't tell him it's me, because I was bald. I mean, I wish I could show you the look. It's a crazy look. And he said, somebody told him somebody's come to meet you. He says, what do you mean somebody's come to meet me? Who's come to meet me? He said, sir, I think he knows you. He was really upset that somebody comes in unannounced at lunchtime. So he came out and he looked at me and said, yes. And I'm just standing there looking at him. He said, what is this? And then I couldn't handle the situation. I started smiling. I smiled. I said, Maddy? I said, yeah. He said, come in, sit down. He made me sit down. And I remember him just looking at me, And he said, I said, do I look the part? He said, yeah. You want to play Inba? I said, yes. He said, tell me what I need to know about Inba. He says, Mani sir is, he's this tough guy. He's a bad childhood. He's an animal. I said, what do you mean he's an animal? He says, he's an animal, Maddy. He's an animal. So you figure it out and let me know what you did. So I remember very clearly going back home saying, I have to do a screen test with him day after tomorrow. What is an animal? What is he looking at? Okay. And then I started watching National Geography at that time.